Advice for a data science job interview. Hi, everybody. If you're looking to become a full-time data scientist and artificial intelligence expert from scratch, then you are at the right place. A data science job interview can be daunting, but understand the basics first. As a data science professional, you need to combine your technical skills with your soft skills. This is indeed a challenging environment to navigate. While landing a data science job interview is great, cracking it is a different ballgame altogether. This is where things get really tough. What topics should you focus on? And what topics should you ignore? Is there a cheat code that works? If all of these questions are bothering you, then this is the right video. I'll give you 5 vital pieces of advice for a data science job interview. Number 1. Be 100% thorough with your resume. The basics of a data science interview start with being absolutely thorough with your resume. You should know everything that's listed on your resume, and you should be able to explain all of it. For instance, let's say you have listed a project related to the Titanic dataset, and you have also mentioned that you have completed this project successfully. Now, don't expect the interviewer to ask you some simple and straightforward questions about a project you have completed successfully. You can be sure that the interviewer will ask you complex questions, and you must be prepared to explain the details about the Titanic dataset. If you are not able to explain the details, then that's a huge red flag for the interviewer. So, what's the solution? A few days before the interview, revisit all the entries on your resume and revise the topics in which you are not 100% thorough. It would even be better if you cut out details that are not needed. Consider every project that you have listed on your resume. Is the project relevant to the interview, and does it add value? It's the same with your job experience. Let's say you've said that you've worked as an intern at a marketing agency. But your experience as an intern with a marketing agency is of little relevance to a data science role. It's best to keep details of your job experience such as this off your resume, as it is irrelevant. Mentioning it might only do you more harm than good. The interviewer will possibly assume that you're not very clear about what exactly you want from the job. Let me return to your project. Your explanation should clearly indicate your understanding of the Titanic dataset. Consider the 2 statements below. 1. Used the Titanic dataset to predict the percentage of survivors. 2. Used the Titanic dataset to predict the percentage of survivors on the ill-fated Titanic that sank. The second statement sounds much more impressive than the first one. Ensure that your answers indicate your thorough understanding of the data science concepts that the interview is asking you about. This will certainly leave a better impression on the mind of the interviewer. Number 2. Research the organization and the requirements of the job role. Researching the organization has obvious advantages. The main advantage is you'll be able to understand the requirements of the job role better. Sometimes the interviewer might test your understanding of what the organization does. Typically, employers mention the job skills they are looking for in the job description, so going through the job description a couple times is helpful too. The interviewer will want to make certain that you know what the organization does. Hence, they might ask you questions along these lines. Tell us about the technologies we work with. What are your expectations from this role? Our data science team open-sourced a project last month. Can you tell us something about this project? You'll be able to answer these questions and other similar questions with confidence if you have read up on the organization and the job role. But if you haven't spent time researching these things, you will not be able to answer these questions correctly. And that might make the difference between success and failure in the interview. The other thing you need to do is a thorough understanding of the job role and its requirements. Data science is a new field, and there are different job roles in different organizations. For instance, the skills that the role of a business analyst requires are vastly different from the skills of a data architect. Likewise, the skills that the role of a machine learning engineer requires are vastly different from the skills of a big data engineer. So, you need a clear understanding of the job design that the employer is seeking to hire. And, of course, it goes without saying that you need a clear understanding of the roles and responsibilities of the position advertised. Number 3. Revise the data science projects you have completed successfully, especially the projects you have listed on your resume. This is one area in which you need to be really strong. Being thoroughly prepared in this area is a surefire road to success. But in the same vein, failing to prepare in this area is a surefire way of preparing to fail. The interviewer might just skip the other details on your resume, but they'll surely want to test your professional skills before making a job offer. So, first of all, you'll need to list only the projects that are most relevant to the role that you've applied to. Only then you'll be shortlisted for the interview. Hence, showcasing projects that are irrelevant to the job role is not going to work in your favor. If you decide to mention some projects that are not relevant to the job role, the interviewer might simply decide that you cannot prioritize well. The best approach would be to mention 3 or 4 relevant projects on your resume that emphasize your skills as well as your best work. These projects could be from your own coursework or internship. Revise the main points in these projects and study them thoroughly. It really helps if each one of these projects is very relevant to the job profile. Well, this might sound repetitive, but this point is really important. Don't list a project that has nothing of relevance to your job role. You might be able to explain what you did in the project to the interviewer, but it will not land you the job. So it's better to leave all irrelevant projects off your resume. The reason you need to be thoroughly prepared is the interviewer might ask you to explain a concept in depth, especially if it is relevant to your job role. Your ability to explain the concept correctly will determine your success in the interview. Conversely, your inability to explain the concept correctly might result in failure in the interview. Number 4. Be ready to face case studies. Organizations typically use case studies to evaluate how you approach real-life workplace problems. The reason for this is easy to see. Case studies come very close to the problems that you will encounter in your job role later on, and fresh data science aspirants tend to struggle with this part of the interview process the most. First of all, you need to understand the difficult aspect of a case study. Actually, the case study might not even be directly related to data science, but don't let that catch you off guard. For instance, you might get a case study along these lines. Predict the number of electric cars on London roads right now. This is a tricky problem, but if you developed a structured mindset, you'll solve this problem in no time. At the outset, a case study appears to be difficult. The reason for this is there's no fixed formula to solve a case study, but you can use the pointers below to guide yourself on how to proceed. Don't hesitate to ask plenty of questions. Ask any question that pops into your head. Remember, every question you ask will help you uncover the essential details you need to arrive at a solution. Structure the problem. Start by organizing the available data into a table. When you structure the data in this format, you might unveil a hidden pattern in the data. It's possible that if you don't structure the problem in this format, you might miss out on the hidden pattern. Practice, practice, and practice more. Check out case studies from different domains, such as finance, healthcare, business, retail, etc. The more real-world case studies you go through, the easier it is for you to solve a new problem. Brainstorming and group discussion are extremely important. The goal is not to arrive at a predefined or fixed solution. Instead, you should focus on finding a path to the solution. The most important part is you should demonstrate your thought process. Number 5. Develop your proficiency with algorithms. Knowing your algorithms well can be a huge factor in the final outcome of your data science interview. However, it is important that you don't get hung up on the difficult concepts of an algorithm. Don't attempt to master everything about each algorithm you know. That's simply not conceivable, and it's not going to land you the job. Take the time to understand which algorithm the interviewer is talking about. Clarify all your doubts before you answer. The most important part is you need to show the interviewer that you understand the major differences between algorithms. You also need to show the interviewer that you know when to use one algorithm over another. Don't forget that the interviewer will assess you based on your attitude and behavior too. The other thing is, when you're talking about algorithms, you need to show the interviewer one specific truth. You need to show them that an algorithm is a mere tool that is used to resolve a business issue. And you need to convince the interviewer that you have a good grasp of this essential concept. If you're interested in learning more about starting a data science and AI career, then be sure to check out our courses at the first link in the description. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more videos helping you to start your data science and AI career and more. Check out this playlist of our data science and machine learning lessons and see you in the next video. Take care.